Greetings, ladies and mentalgets, and welcome to this latest episode of Tales from Outer Space, where I take a space-related story from around the internet and read it out loud for your enjoyment. All the relevant links are down below. Please don't forget to do the usual YouTube gumph, because if you don't, the nanite swarms will steal your other sock. But more importantly, as always, I hope that you enjoy. I'd quickly like to thank the following Tier 5 patrons and channel members for supporting the channel: Datamagnet and Bob the Dragon. Thank you very much. Story number 1. A brief, again, once more, update to the university rules. 185. No human students. No, can't say that. 185. No including a keylogger in this document or making entries undeletable from this document. 186. No packing any of the following into artillery shells: surprisingly durable chainsaws, chainsaws in general, lube, anything living or recently deceased, freeze-dried pine cones, fart gas, the blood of any species, surprisingly durable though unfortunately non-functioning organs of any kind, or anything which, while technically not illegal or at the time against the rules, would have you put in front of a war crime tribunal were it actually used in warfare. 187. No touching artillery shells at all unless you have a really good reason. 188. A really good reason, and other such similar statements, at the very least when applied to this document, means a good reason according to the relevant department head, not you. 189. If you have to wonder whether or not it's against the rules, it either is or soon will be. Don't. 190. If you don't have to wonder as such, because you can conclude that it is, or such an action will cause an update to these rules, don't do it. 191. Do not make doors require that they be sung at before they can be opened. 192. No posting this list to Reddit in order to get help finding loopholes. 193. Or on any other social media. 194. If the word loophole crosses your mind at any time while reading this list, you are to inform the relevant department head have said loophole and not use it. 195. The same applies to any synonym thereof. 196. No using orbital cannons to toast bread. 197. No using anything except a toaster to toast bread. 198. No using anything except a toaster with no modifications made, designed, or suggested by humans to toast bread. 199. Scrubbed from records by order of Union Military Intelligence. See file The Horror 553876 for heavily redacted details. 200. Don't do anything which causes several new government agencies to exist, simply to deal with the implications of it being a thing. 201. Scrubbed from records by order of the UNI, no details available. 202. Scrubbed from the records by order of the UNI, no details available. 203. Scrubbed from the records by order of the UNI, no details available. 204. Don't do anything even vaguely related to the above. 205. Rule 0 is not ignore the following if the idea seems cool. There is no Rule 0 on this document, nor is there a Rule X with X being null, a decimal, integer less than 1, fraction, irrational number, imaginary number, letter, or any symbol or combination of symbols besides integers greater than 0. 206. No detaching and throwing your own limb at somebody. 207. Could you please stop making other students nervous over rumors about this Project Reality Diner and a supposed anti-human conspiracy? The xenophobia-fueled attacks are unfortunate, but they don't need a conspiracy to happen. You're not scary. 208. No cancer guns. 209. No guns that shoot blobs of cancer. 210. No guns which are cancerous. 211. No guns in which are in any way diseased. 212. Yes, the university does reside in a territory of a nation. Yes, other nations might go to war with such a nation. If people attack the university, you have to take prisoners in an ethical manner, not use the event as an excuse to test some of your more exotic weaponry. 213. No experimentally driving prisoners insane. 214. No experimenting on prisoners. Apparently, this one needs to be restated, but this time including prisoners of war. 215. No experimenting on terrorists. 216. No converting massive sections of the university into pulsating flesh. 217. All ways should be comprised of neither tongues nor teeth. 218. Same for doors and flagpoles. 219. No using finely tuned orbital laser platforms to make fruit salad. 220. No creating currencies backed by liters of tears. 221. Nor liters of blood or any other kind of bodily fluid. 222. No using orbital lasers to assist in surgery. 223. No using orbital lasers to warm your coffee. 224. No using highly elaborate setups to convince someone that they've been shrunk to 1/8 scale. 225. If it causes psychological trauma, no. 226. Any human Rule 34 is a psychological weapon when used against non-humans. 227. No using orbital lasers to evaporate raindrops before they hit you. 228. Fine. If someone attacks this place, despite it being one of the most heavily armed places known to exist, when did that happen, you can do with them as you wish. 229. No throwing anyone else's limb at anyone. 230. Yes, the blue pseudo-gas is mysterious. Yes, it may very well lead to a grand scientific progress. However, despite that, if using completely excessive amounts of explosives against it didn't cause any reaction other than obliterating the moon the experiment was taking place on, doing so again won't get any different results. Yes, repeatability is the basis of science, but it didn't work the first 5 times, and it won't work the 6th. It is not a valid excuse to set off fireworks, antimatter-based or not, just because you've figured out that you have to keep it in constant motion in order to contain it doesn't mean that a lot more motion is the answer to getting it to do anything. Repeat after me, explosives do not solve anything. End of story. Story number 2. Out of the Box, written by Menegator. Senior Council Member Earl Harder made the equivalent of a human sigh while waiting for the conversation to stop. No such luck. Not that she couldn't understand their excitement. Galdar is a very old race and had not many opportunities to be excited for several millennia. She waited patiently, and when the conversation stopped, she started. To say that we, Galdar, are a senior species is an understatement. We are what's left of the first ones in the galaxy. We had an interstellar civilization before the last common ancestor of genus Homo appeared in Africa. Humanity is the latest so far civilization to achieve FTL, so in the eyes of a member of the Galdar Ruling Council, they should be almost as unimportant as the non-sentient species. Well, there are very few things that can baffle the Galdar. Humanity as a whole is one of them. For starters, they were way too advanced for their age. Arguably, achieving FTL is a major accomplishment, but most species achieve FTL by managing to activate one of the gates seeded by a long-gone ancient peers, and there lied the accomplishment. Humans, while new to the gate in their home system, didn't bother even trying to activate the gate. They studied it and created their own version of FTL, a method that, though inferior to the gate network, didn't limit them to the network itself. Their sudden appearance in the stagnant galactic community created a great upheaval. They drew attention from the Jarzen, who found out the hard way that humans, while they appear to be dominated by their emotions, did fight in a cold, calculating, and highly asymmetrical ways. Jarzen themselves, or what's left of them, after the humans made Jarzen's core system go supernova, can attest to that. The message, "Do not mess with us," was received by all the rest of the galactic civilizations. Many of them came running to us as if we were their mothers, but what should we have done? Go exterminate the humans because they responded after being provoked, and in the process draw their attention to ourselves? I suppose we could exterminate them if we tried hard enough, but at a great cost, and there are not many of us left in this universe. The strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must, is a universal constant, just as much as the speed of light. We knew that. Humans knew that, and the Jaws idiots ought to have known that too. An agreeing murmur filled the chamber, but it was quickly toned down. We invited a human delegation. Humans are freakishly clever. I know that they know that this invitation was not more than a pretense to study them more closely, and this was a double-edged sword. They would also get a chance to study us, and we are not in the habit of meddling with junior races. She paused for some moments. I admit that it was fun. I can't remember doing anything this exciting in the last 5,000 cycles. We were treading on a very thin line, trying to learn as much as we could about them while giving back as little as possible. Not only are humans freakishly clever, as I said earlier, they are wired to being able to assess with a high degree of success ambiguous situations. They named their ability reading between the lines, and by the stars, they are good at that. She enjoyed the effect of the captivated audience, and she paused again for some moments before continuing. We know that natural languages have an inherent ambiguity. While every known species try to mitigate this ambiguity by trying to be as exact as possible, humans embrace this ambiguity and use it as a weapon. Thinking unconventionally, or as they describe, out of the box, gets not frowned upon, it's encouraged. I will give you some examples. The excitement in the council chambers rose even more. Please open the presentation document on page 84. There you can find their calendar. As you can see, their equivalent of a cycle is named year, and their equivalent of the 8th cycle is a month. Please review the calendar carefully. Now please answer the question, what month has 28 days in a normal year and 29 in a leap year? She went patiently for everyone to submit their answer. Everybody replied February, and everybody got it wrong. She said, having the Galdar equivalent of a chuckle. A murmur started to rise, but she moved her tentacles to get their attention. The correct answer is every month. Before arguing, please read the question. It asks what month has 28 or 29 days and not what month has exactly 28 or 29 days. The silence was almost deafening. And this, esteemed council members, is just an example. You should have read their body of laws. It's an exercise on how to write as precisely as possible while concurrently being creatively vague to allow multiple interpretations, should not forethought needs arise. What they call a creative interpretation is not merely a form of art. For humans, it is a science. What is said matters, but what is not said matters even more. Let me give you another example. The laws of war prohibit attacking the civilian population. But they destroyed the Jarzen's core industrial complex, the core worlds. They violated their laws, replied Council Mental Afonzon, interrupting Alhada. That's exactly what I told them, esteemed colleague, admitted Alhada and continued. Their answer, while highly disconcerting, is factually accurate. What was their answer? Asked Avazan. We really didn't. It was this sun going supernova that killed them. We merely accelerated the process. End of story. And that, my friends, concludes this video. I hope that you enjoyed, and if you do, please consider supporting the author, even by popping over and leaving a thumbs up or a nice comment, just to show your appreciation for the story. However, if you wish to support this channel, there are links down below which will help immensely. I will see you all in the next one, and until then, I hope that you have a fantastic day. Cheers.